Ducky Shot's in a Holland. He's got two div mates, a Vermont and a Yamato. And he's going to go in and do the thing. I'll kick this over to double speed. Alright, so loading in, he's going to be against a Midway. Midway has a lot of destroyer pressure, but obviously a Holland is a Holland, so you have to factor that in. There's only two destroyers on his team. Shimikaze's looking at A, so this gives him two options. You go to Bravo or you go to Charlie. Bravo's kind of a death trap, especially before you know what the fuck is out there. So he's looking at Charlie, kicking. Looks like his battleships are going to follow him. Hindenburg and Worcester probably going to post up. Well, Worcester's going to post up on the island. Hindenburg probably run around in circles and stuff. And okay, so I can't just like pause it. Damn, that sucks. I miss YouTube.
Yeah, you'd be able to do a spacebar as long as you're clicked on that window and you weren't alt tabbed to another window.
Okay, well I can, but I still get like the play button. So if you watched my stream, you'd see because I'm just showing whatever's on my screen, which hopefully is coming through. Yes, it is. Cool. All right, so first things first, charged out full speed, so you're breaking away from your team. However, the Worcester's also full speed and frankly really close to you, so he is moving forward, but he still has AA cover, and of course, as we already know, he's in a fucking Holland. So immediately as soon as he opens up, once the AA is, I think the planes were about 3.5-ish, 3.5 to 4, which is great, because that's going to be the medium range that's full. You're going to miss out on the flak, but you're going to be able to rip bitches apart. And sure enough, the CV panicked, dropped a fighter, and bailed, and just got murdered for it.
He was ready for it, because he dropped all but the first squad, all but his last squad. He made it so he was only going to lose 3.
Well, he lost 8, so 7 is going to be in that fighter consumable, so you might have shot down 1 and the Worcester the other 2.
Probably.
Was it only 3? Was it really only 3?
Yeah, you can go back and look, but he only came with 3 rockets.
He did pre-drop once there.
At 3.9, you can see he's only got 3.
So he pre-dropped twice, probably just expected he was going to lose planes to a Holland. So yeah, he bailed. So okay, got wrecked. He's heading over to Charlie's, too far really to take any meaningful shots from crossfire from the Stalin or whatever. Awesome. We can see that bombs are coming out. Bombs are usually going to be destroyer harassment. Anytime you see that coming out from a Midway, especially if it's all 12, I mean, he's not going to bomb a Smolensk. He's looking to bomb you, which is kind of silly. 1, because you're a Holland, but 2, because you have support. You have a Smolensk that's close. So you're about 4 kilometers away from the Smol. Could be a little closer, I guess. Oh, he's going wide for the Yamatos. This is a damage farming CV.
Yeah, when I see him wide, I intentionally go in after his fighters, because I'm like, why should he get free spotting?
Sure. And when you do that, once again, the Stalin is like 15 kilometers away. The Moskva is probably actually a little bit close. The Moskva might take a pot shot at you, but you'll burn these things so quickly, and you do. As they come into your mid-range, they just get roasted, and then boom, it's already gone. So you took 2,000 for it, but you got rid of spotting. You're way too far away to take any kind of responsive fire, plus you have a Smol in your back pocket, so if the CV did want to come back and try to fuck with you, I mean, he's not going to be able to. So Smol should be unspotted at this point unless he fired, and this is a little bit where I get confused. So you've entered the cap. Go ahead.
This is the biggest mistake I make looking back.
Okay.
Was going too deep into the cap, but I was just kind of wanting to get out past these islands. I should have gone on a southeast trajectory, but I head straight across east. But I just wanted to get, so I had line of sight on these ships, so everybody could shoot at them.
So right now, if the CV wanted to, and I'm not going to say that he wants to, but if the CV wanted to, he could balls deep for Charlie and get resets. And every time he resets you, you have shots coming in from a Stalin, shots coming in from whatever the hell out there wants to take shots. Now, they're pretty far away, but some of them are going to land. We already saw the Moskva was able to prick you for 2K. The further into Charlie you go, the further away from a Smolensk, and theoretically from Smolensk that's going to smoke, which I don't think he does. I think he just turns out and gets owned. So, rip. But the further away you go from that, the less support you have. And until you've actually completed the cap, you're putting yourself in risk. Or at least you're putting the cap at risk. And there are fighters coming back. Your AA is off. 5 seconds, you're lit. You do get away with it. Shells could be in the air, but odds are he's going for the small, and other people might be shooting at the small as well because he was lit first. You got to shave a few off, but the small, I think, dies here, if I remember, because I did watch this once.
Yeah, I think he does.
But my question is, okay, so the small is down. What do you get out of this position? And I say this for 2 reasons. You just completed the cap. There's a gearing that might be contesting for Bravo, but Bravo at this point is either open for contest or it's free. And once the small goes down, you can post up with a Wooster. You can start to be aggressive there. You have a Vermont, which can cover your Yamatos, so you don't necessarily have to screen, although it's cool if you do. But you're driving toward the enemy. You're getting closer to a Stalin at 11 clicks. You're getting closer to a Moskva at 13. I don't see any reason why you'd be here as opposed to being here, heading over to take Bravo. And if it turns out that the planes keep coming, you can fade back. You can cock block any attempts that the Midway is going to come in on any of your battleships. You can just mow them the fuck down. Comes out with bombers, comes out with torps. Surprise motherfucker Holland AA. You cover all 3 of your ships, and you start to threaten the Bravo cap. Which, granted, go ahead.
In addition to the 2K that the Stalin got with that one hit, look at my 57 mil.
Look at your... I don't look at visual indicators, so...
So no, the 57 mil was down from that one hit from the Stalingrad.
Cool.
So I've already lost a lot of AA.
Okay. Nonetheless, you are still a Holland. Sure. I mean, you're going to have that plus defensive, plus flak, plus all the other shit. I don't even know if flak can be broken. I think flak puffs are generated separately. Go ahead.
So if you're looking at... as far as my position goes, we got a Yamato pointing towards CCAP. We got a Vermont posting towards CCAP, and I think that's a GK out just out of my vision range.
Mm-hmm.
So their positioning on CCAP is a lot stronger than our positioning on CCAP. So my positioning here is I want to keep wide on the CCAP. I want to keep them spotted. I don't want to let them think that they can just come into C unspotted and flank us, because their position is much stronger to push through C than ours is.
Okay, but if you're worried about them pushing into Charlie, from this position, if they come at Charlie, you're torping at bow end targets. From this position, if they're coming into Charlie, you're starting to hit broadside targets. Plus, you're going over to threaten Bravo. Plus, you're spotting all of them. Granted, you might not be spotting the GK from over here, but you're still spotting them all. In a game with a CV, by coming over here and dropping torps, and as soon as this Stalin sees your torps, I don't even think this guy realized that there was a destroyer in Charlie, which is kind of derp, because obviously you just capped it. And I think he might have... Well, it was either him or the Moskva.
No, Stalin.
Okay, cool. But he doesn't even light off his radar. He doesn't know until he sees these torps and he panic radars, and then you get trapped in it. But if you...
Stalingrad, he knows.
Okay, well... All right, so yes, Baizi would know. That's correct. But if you're over here, then you're vulnerable to, yes, you're a Holland, but if the Midway wants to dump planes into it, he can come over here, he can hover you with bombs, he can torp you while the torps are healing, he can rocket you back and forth and try to slingshot to trick your AA on and off and mitigate damage. He can do all this shit while you're taking damage from 5 enemy ships, and the nearest thing you have to support once the small goes down is 3 battleships off in Bumblefuck side, whatever. They're like almost 18 to 23 clicks away. You don't have any cover other than your AA. You don't have any help other than 3 battleships that aren't in a position to assist you. If the Midway wants to throw planes down your throat, then they just balls deep you and you die. If you come over here, however, if the planes start coming, you can fade back. If he wants to lose planes so that he can spot you, okay, but he's going to trade those planes to push you away from Bravo. And the further away you get from Bravo, the harder you are for this shit to hit. Eventually, he's going to run out of planes or he's going to do something else with his life, in which case you come up and you threaten Bravo. But over here, out in the middle of nowhere, if there was not a CV and you know both destroyers are up in the front, yeah, you can be the lone warrior kicking everybody's ass because there's nobody to check you other than radar. And I mean, you can see them before they can see you, so you don't even have to worry about that. You're literally invulnerable over here if there's no carrier, but there is. You have to factor it in. So instead of this position, my personal belief is right after you finish this cap, you're getting no value from being on this side. You need to start heading over toward Bravo. 1, because you're going to be able to support the team with your AA, and 2, because you're going to threaten the cap pressure. So Stalin sees the torps. I think right about now is where he radars. So you're 10 clicks from a Stalin, you're committed. If the Midway wanted to throw rocket planes at you, you're spotted by radar, which means he can line up the shot. If you're undetected and the Midway's coming at you, for instance, there's planes, he has to guess where the shot is. Although I guess you murdered all the planes anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you gave away free health there, and you lost 50% of your ship to do it. At which point, as soon as this happened, you went, well, this kind of sucks, and now you're going to head to the position you could have headed at instead of, you capped here moving forward. If you just turned off, you'd be in this position anyway, which is where you're about to head to. Like, I don't think you gained anything by moving forward. You just lost half your ship.
Oh, that one, no, and that to me was a mistake. I went too far, got into the radar range of the Stalin, which was not what my intention was.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the radar from the Stalin is the reason you got nailed. But it just comes down to, you have to respect that if the Midway feels like losing planes that day, because he's really just worried about you and you're isolated, he could absolutely throw planes and planes and planes. He's going to lose them, he's going to get hurt, but he's going to keep you spotted for a Stalingrad that's 10 clicks away, whereas now it's 18. I still don't see what value the Charlie stuff has, other than maybe protecting the Vermont. Although the Vermont can kind of look after himself. They have a pretty decent AA suite. You could be heading over to Bravo, which I think is what you're about to do here. Vermont also is probably going to see you do so. Eventually he collapses in from the flank rather than trying to do a wrap, which you guys might have done. Like if the two of you moved in a coordinated piece, you could start looking for those crossfires. And Vermont alone, I mean, yeah, he's going to be shelled by 3 battleships plus a Stalin, and potentially also get his ass kicked by a Midway. But if he's got a surprise motherfucker Holland on him, then he's absolutely A-okay. The battleship shells are terrifying. The planes are not. So you're able to help with torps here, which is cool. Shred a bunch of that shit. You're still at a decent clip, although there's a Des Moines that's close. But I think because the Des Moines is there and you've got great div mates, that Des Moines is fucked. So you're heading over to Bravo. And this starts to set up another thing which confused me. All right, so at this point, both of the destroyers are spotted up north. This thing, whatever battleship that was, just got golf clapped. There's nothing to stop the blocking of Bravo. So absolutely, this shit's free real estate. And by being here, you know, Midway's going to be flying across. The only way he can fly to a target is to go, like, take the scenic route to go to the Vermont. So it's going to be a long commitment of time to do this shit. And of course, if he wants to go to the Yamato, he has to fly through you. And in general, you have overlapping flak, which is great. I was a little confused as to why you turned in.
Because I wanted to keep that Des Moines lit until he died.
Okay.
Because he's going behind the island and he's on very low health, so I wanted to try and keep him.
And he had shot. I guess you still had him firing timered.
He's going behind the island. Yep.
Okay. Take some damage there. You did actually get the cap, which is great. I think it was like down to 0.1 seconds on that reset. And the forward...
Trying to keep that Des Moines spot definitely screws me because then I'm bow in and the Stalingrad just keeps backing it.
Okay.
And then the CV is going to keep me lit.
Yeah, my initial... See, the initial time that I viewed this was that, okay, I'm going to get B, this is where the action is, and you wanted to head through the through the path to respond to that. And I was looking at, like, you have support back here. Why would you take the unsafe route? Why not just hang back a bit, finish the cap, and then you can go and displace and do whatever the hell you wanted to do? So you actually went hard there to guarantee that the Des Moines died. Props to that. I didn't see that, which was confusing to me. But then, yeah, it caused a pretty hard overcommit.
No, I think I turned because of which way the direction the planes were coming and things like that. And which caused me to go south.
So at this point,
I'm trying to think.
Well, at this point, you're looking at this Des Moines, and there's bombs. So the bombs aren't on you. There's no plane, anything. Once this Des Moines goes down, you could have left turned and cut back, finished the cap closer to your allies, and then moved in a position of strength. So he's low. Please, please, get him, get him. Awesome. And then you turned in. Or, sorry, I guess you held the line, like, because this is where my initial assumption was you were looking to go through this pass.
I torped the Stalingrad. Yep.
Okay.
And then the planes are spotted immediately.
Okay. So you're turning, at this point, you're looking at the planes, you're turning into the planes.
I thought the Stalin was heading out, so I thought, oh, I can go turn in and slow down. I can mitigate as much as possible from him getting a good reticle on me. And stop. However, he's still backing up. And Vermont is accurate on me.
Okay. Well, I definitely get the Des Moines. But I guess since everybody else was backing up, my initial look on this was like, if you were turning in, oh, that's gonna hurt. But I guess, yeah, with the rocket planes being there, you turned in to try to dodge the shot.
Because I figured I could stay on Stalingrad radar range because I figured he was moving out because he was at a fairly vertical angle to me, so I couldn't really tell whether he was straight out or whether he was going in or out.
Sure. Yeah, and this is where the Midway just throws planes, yes. And you don't have an umbrella. You don't have anybody to keep them off you. So eventually shells are going to come in, they're going to commit. I think it's those. Yeah. So it's, even though it's a Holland, I mean, Holland has really good AA, but no single ship can stop a CV from interacting with it. And the reason for that is like, there's no ship that's fire immune and has 100mm armor, which means that the only way you could deal damage to it is AP. Like there's no ship that's like that. There isn't. Why? Because there's ways to interact. One player can interact with another player, and the Holland has breachable AA, but it's a fucking lot of AA. And for some reason it seems to have hyper accurate flak, or maybe it's just like its flak generation timer works really well. I don't know. Those were the only two things that I saw, was when it was going deep into C, and then again when it's going deep into Bravo. I fully get the Des Moines thing though. As soon as it felt like the Des Moines was either fucked off or dead, I think if you turned left, you might have eaten rockets, but turning left away from the Stalin, ultimately I think would have saved you more health than the rockets would have taken from you, and you would have gotten back to a Worcester and a Yamato and been able to displace. Because once you're under once you're under the cover, that one,
thinking that the Stalin was heading further out, which he wasn't.
Cool. Well, yeehaw! Thank you for joining. I mean,
no problem.
Because that was definitely, I didn't see that, and I think that's actually pretty badass that you were able to catch. Ooh, I can keep this bitch lit, and got him down. I mean, that's like split-second decision making. That's pretty badass, dude. I like that. Thank you very much for the raid, Philcon. So, for those that don't know, this is, let me try and get you a link. Twitch.tv/ducky_shot_, right? Yes?
Yes.
Is that correct? Awesome. So the gentleman whose replay that we just watched is that. You can go check him out, especially if you want to see some Destroyer play. You might get some bonus angry swearing about Carrier's OP.
Well, it won't be swearing. There might be anger, but I don't swear on stream. So.
Well, gaming is too personal to me. So when I went into this, I just knew I'm going to swear, and to try to turn this into like, a tie-wearing job where I couldn't, I just slapped the mature on the channel and just let it be what it was. But anyway, you can go over and you can hear him angrily not swear about CVs at some points, I'm sure. Because, I mean, they can be obnoxious. But, yeah, so thank you very much. I had fun. I hope you did too. Do you have anything you wanted to add?
No, that's pretty much it.
Well, woot. All right, man. See ya.
You bet to see ya.